Good morning, everyone. I'm Andy Shepherd, and thank you all for coming down here today for the final press conference before Haye Day and the end of David Haye's 3.5 years away from the ring. That break will end this Saturday right here at the O2 Arena as he goes up against Mark, the Dominator, the Mori. It's the Dominator versus the Haymaker. This morning you'll hear from both fighters and their coaches. Following that, there will be an opportunity for questions from yourselves. Before we get started, we'd like to thank all the partners who are making Haye Day possible. The first Haye Day promotion, Salter Brothers Entertainment, Goodwin Promotions, Dave TV, the O2, Intercontinental Hotels, Kaiser Gym Equipment, and IM360. This morning we have with us Steve Goodwin from Goodwin Promotions, Mark Mori, Mario De Silvia, his coach. We have David Haye, Shane McGuigan, and Steve North, the general manager of Dave. First of all, I'd like to invite up Mark to say a few words.
So I assume most people have turned up today to speak with David Haye. I'm the other guy. That's my role here, the other guy, the guy that's supposed to make David Haye look good. He's going to come back, fight Joshua. All I can say is I'm ready to fight. I've turned up, I've trained extremely hard. I'll do whatever it takes to win. Huge amount of respect for David Haye's career. He's obviously taking this fight serious, he's trained hard. But I am the unknown. I have explosive power. I'm here to win. I know you all want to hear from David Haye, not me, but maybe after the fight things will change. But best of luck to everyone involved. But once again, all I can say is I'm here to win. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm the other guy, the B side. But here to win, here to knock David Haye out, ready to fight.
So Mark is here to fight. I'd now like to invite Mario, his trainer, up to say a few words. Mario?
Thank you. Hi, I want to say hello to everybody. Thanks for coming. I want to short this out. Mark trained well. We did a good job preparing for this last 2 months, as we know, for the fight. And my role is tactics, technique, what I did the best and gave it to Mark. He's going to prove that on Saturday against David, and hopefully we're going to go for that world title or another thing we're going to do. So, this is pretty much it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Mario. And now I'd like to invite the Haymaker himself, David Haye, up to say a few words.
Thank you for coming out, everybody. It's been a long time since I've been in this position. A few days away from a fight. That's going to actually happen. And 1,282 days, I think it is. Long time not to be active. Longest time in my life since I was 10 years old that I haven't had a fight, and I've missed it. You know, I was sitting on the sidelines looking in. But this for me is the start of something amazing. Mark Mori, solid operator, explosive power, you know, but I believe the levels between genuine world class and the unknown will tell. I don't believe he's fought as an amateur or professional anybody that will give him the technical know-how to navigate through my speed and power and punch variety. But I've never been in a situation where I've been out for so long. Sparring was very tough to start off with. It was very awkward, you know, ring rust. But you know, over the months, it slowly but surely sort of sunk into place, and I'm in a position now where I can throw and land punches and avoid punches like I could do, you know, in the old days. I'm very happy that this fight's been screened live, exclusively and free on the Freeview channel Dave. For me, that was very important, that the masses got to see this comeback, as I think in years to come this will be a milestone in my career, and people will look to this fight as the beginning of something very, very special. Team's been fantastic. Shane McGuigan's really made sure that I'm in tip-top condition, made sure that injuries are a thing of the past, and come fight night I'm firing on all cylinders. And for me, that's the most important thing. I've been enjoying training, not too much pain between sessions, which is quite new to me. And I'm standing here now, feeling very, very healthy, very fit and fast. Stamina, I'm expecting. We've trained for Mori to do what most opponents do when they fight me, for Chisora, John Ruiz, Mormek, guys who are a little shorter than me. They think, right, let's just get to David, let's put him in his uncomfort zone, let's rough him up, let's have a tight guard, press. That's what all the guys do when they fight me who are a little shorter than me, and every single person who's tried that's been knocked spark out. So maybe he's going to try it again. Maybe he feels that technique will work with 3.5 years out. But that's what I've prepared for, and I'm expecting a tough fight. I'm expecting to ask me questions. I'm expecting to be brought into the second half of the fight and have to dig deep and have to get my second wind and keep pushing. And that's what I've been doing in training. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling healthy, and I'm really glad that the media activity is high, and people are excited. People on the street are really excited about this comeback, and to be part of the heavyweight division at the moment is a good thing. It's a very healthy division worldwide. There's titles all over the place at the moment. And I want them, and they won't happen unless I get through Mark and get through him in spectacular fashion. So tune in. We'll come down. A few tickets left, so get down there to the O2 Arena or watch it on Dave. It's going to be a fun night, and enjoy Haye. Thank you.
The Haymaker sounds ready. I'd like to invite Shane, who's training now, to say a few words about how David's training has been going.
He's been, thanks everyone, Andy, for introducing me. It's excited to be part of this event, really excited about David's comeback fight. It's been a long time coming. We first started talking about this last December, so a full year. It's not been rushed and it's been planned properly. He's here, he's made it to the final press conference. He's firing on all cylinders. People don't, they haven't had a chance to see him on the pads and stuff. We let a few people in, like Ronald, come down and watch some pads, and everyone's been blown away. He's bigger, he's same speed, and you're all going to be shocked by the time you see him on Saturday night. And Mark's a big tough guy, very strong. As David says, not got a lot of amateur experience, but rugged and raw. And he's going to prove a lot of tests on Saturday night. But he's never been in there with a world-class heavyweight. So this could be make or break for him. He could either rise to the occasion or he could fold. So we're expecting him to rise to the occasion, and David's fully prepared. So last bit of little training done tonight, and weigh in on Friday, ready for Saturday. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Shane. I'd like to ask Steve North from Dave now to come up and say a few words about the coverage this weekend.
Thank you. Morning, everybody. Just very quickly from me, we're really excited about the fight. It's a huge event, and having Dave having the comeback for the Haymaker is absolutely fantastic. Just a couple of things on the coverage itself. We'll have a preview show on Dave on 8 o'clock on Friday night, and then we'll be live from the O2 on 9 o'clock on Saturday evening. We've got a fantastic team who will be bringing the show to the viewers, so Giant Productions making it. We've got Paul Dempsey as our anchor. We've also got Ronald McIntosh as our commentator on the night. We'll have a studio with guests, so BJ Flores will be one of those. So we've got a fantastic team. John Watts will also be directing the boxing, a man who's directed over 100 fights for TV and covered off many sporting events. So we've got a fantastic, professional, experienced and knowledgeable team who will be bringing the fights to the fans, and I'm sure it'll be a fantastic event. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Now there's an opportunity for you to ask questions yourselves. If you have got a question, I do encourage you to ask it now because there is very limited one-to-one time following this. We've got a couple of microphones going around, so if you have got a question, please put your hand up. We'll get a microphone to you and you can ask the guys. Any questions? Got one over there. It's winging its way to you.
Hi, question for David. It's Joshua Byrne, World TV. David, as you mentioned, over 1,000 days since your last fight, fighting under a new trainer, a new promotion. With so much passing and so much changing since your last fight, how much is ring rust going to play a factor?
I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. I've never been in a position where I've been out of ring that long. I think the longest I've had before is probably 1.5 years between fights. And I didn't really see too much signs of ring rust when that happened. If you look through my career, I don't fight that regularly. In the past, it's been like around about a year to 18 months sometimes between fights. And as long as the sparring's live, as long as I get my time in sparring, I haven't had an issue with a fight. But as you said, it's the unknown. I'm not too worried about it. If there is ring rust, then it may take a few more rounds to get into my flow. But once I'm in the flow, it should be fine. I don't believe that I won't get my rhythm and timing with 10 rounds. It's a long time in there, half an hour to get my time and rhythm in. Because all it takes is me to click in to my rhythm for a 30-second period and the fight could be over. So I'm not fussed about that. But it is a factor that people could be worried about. But I'm not worried about that at all.
Thank you.
Got a question down here as well.
Gareth Davis from The Telegraph. A question for Mark Mori. Do you think David Haye's a chancer and an opportunist who's come back because the belts have opened up with Tyson Fury having beaten Klitschko and the IBF becoming available? Do you think he's a chancer who's come back to make money?
When our fight was announced, the IBF title wasn't vacant, and Deontay Wilder, the WBC champion, is a very good champion. So I would just say he's a guy that loves fighting, loves boxing, and tried to retire and found it was probably boring. There was no adrenaline like there is being in centre ring. So, I mean, I feel like he almost used the question to me to take a stab at him. But all I can say is Haye's been a very good fighter. Is he still a good fighter? I guess that's the question. The champions right now are very good. I think Klitschko is a brilliant champion. I think Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are excellent champions also. Maybe they're unproven compared to Klitschko, but these are big, strong guys and very dangerous. And I think Wilder especially is completely underrated, so I wouldn't say that at all.
Thanks for exposing me as trying to play devil's advocate there, which obviously was. But can I ask you then, is there an opportunity for you here to make a name for yourself by beating David Haye on Saturday night?
Of course. I mean, everyone's written me off, and people will say, "Oh, this is your biggest fight." My first amateur fight, I was supposed to get beaten convincingly. My first professional fights, I was supposed to get beaten convincingly. So every time I've walked to the ring, no one's been cheering for me. No one's been telling me I'm going to be a champion. So this is a self-made career, and the big difference is in 2012, I believe he knocked out Chisora. If we fought then, yeah, it would be pretty convincing for David Haye. But this is 2016. I've got a proper coach and a full-time team, and David Haye's been out, so I think that's what makes this an intriguing matchup. So for me, all opportunity. The risk is for him. There's no risk for me. I'm here to win.
Yeah, that was my final question actually for David. David, are there nerves because there is a great risk involved in this comeback for you after such a long time away?
I've been fighting international opposition, for instance, in 1996, 1997. I was competing as an international senior when I was 17 years of age against guys who were ranked in the top 5 in the world. So I've been in the deep end for a long, long time. Since that point, since the age of 17, it's basically been international fights for me against champions of their respective countries. Fighting top Cubans, Americans, Russians, Ukrainians. It's just what I've done. And same thing as a professional. You know, I've been to foreign territory many times, won titles, defended against undefeated fighters who've gone on since me knocking them out to become champion. So this, I don't feel, is, you know, a step too far. You know, although I've been out of the ring for a while, and my last fight was against Derek Chisora. You know, not the greatest fighter in the world, but, you know, a solid top 10 contender who's never been knocked out. You know, the fight before me, he went 12 rounds with Vitaly Klitschko. I said I'll knock you out in 5, and did just that. So I don't think this is a step too far, or I'm not worried, or I'm not going to get nervous for this fight. It's just going to be like any other fight. You know, I haven't watched footage of him because I haven't. There's no footage of him fighting anybody who I believe is genuinely world class. So the guy that's going to turn up on the night is going to be a guy who's prepared to fight a world class fighter. So he's going to be faster, stronger, fitter. I'm anticipating him being like an improved version of someone like Derek Chisora, who's just going to steamroll me, throwing big old looping hooks with a tight defence, trying to get under me, trying to rough me up, break me down to the body, and rough me up inside. He's stronger than me. You could probably deadlift and bench press probably twice what I can. He's just a bigger, stronger guy. But thank God this isn't a powerlifting competition, otherwise I'd be worried. It's a boxing match, and I believe my superior skill set will negate its superior strength. So it's going to be interesting while it lasts, and people who are strong can normally take a better shot. So I'm not anticipating this guy going over from the first punch I land on him. No, I know I'm going to have to put a lot of punches together, break him up to the body and head, slow him down, and just I anticipate this fight going into the second half of the fight, because this guy's strong and tough and prepared, mentally prepared as well. You know, he like, in his mind, he knows I can punch. All he's got to do is put David Haye on YouTube, and he just sees an array of people getting knocked out. 24 of my 26 victories have been by knockout, so he'd be completely foolish to believe that my punching power may have gone. You know, I've knocked people out my left hand, right hand, uppercuts, hooks. As soon as I catch people, I hit them, they stay hit. And when that's coming at you, people tighten up their defence. Whatever your style is, instinctively you're worried about the power. And I'm anticipating trying to get close to me and smother my distance. It's the same tactics that every single person tries to implement with me, but no one's quite done it yet. Maybe he feels he's the guy who can do that, but it's going to be interesting while he's conscious.
Thank you.
David, Mike Walters, Daily Mirror. What fighting weight do you expect to be on Saturday night? And secondly, what examples can you draw inspiration from of 35-year-old heavyweights who've come back after 3.5 years of inactivity to go right the way to the top again?
My fighting weight, I'm not sure. I don't really weigh myself. You know, I'm just packing in the food as much as I can. You know, I used to, in years gone by, diet down a lot. You know, the ethos in my old training camps was to get as light as I could possibly get, and I used to come in around 15 stone. I used to sort of lose a stone, sort of just cutting my food down, as the sort of general consensus back then was, you know, the lighter I am, the closer I am to cruiserweight, the faster I'll be. And that's all good and well, but when you're cutting your weight down so low and you're sparring big guys, you seem to I get injured. So a good reason to not do that is injury prevention. So I've instead of doing the dieting down, I've been packing the food and eating every 2.5 hours constantly. So it feels like it's really annoying setting alarms to eat to make sure that, you know, I don't, you know, my weight doesn't get too low. But I've been performing with that additional weight. I'm not as ripped as I was for my last few fights, but you know, it's not a bodybuilding competition. I'd be more ripped than him, don't worry about that. And but I'm more focused on performance, more focused on punch variety and speed, and I definitely feel that you're going to see a new and improved. The fact that I've got to this fight without any injuries, for me, it sounds crazy, but for me that's a real big plus, a big bonus. In regards to other fighters I can draw comparison with, you know, Muhammad Ali had 3.5 years out. He came back and lost, but he lost against Joe Frazier. You know, I don't believe Mark Mori is in a Joe Frazier category. You've also got, you know, George Foreman was out of the ring for 10 years. He came back. He did it slowly. You know, 10 years out, he then worked his way up with sort of moderate opposition, for a 5-year period before he fought Holyfield and fought Michael Mori and won that fight. But but these are all-time great fighters I'm talking about. Even Vitaly Klitschko was out for 4 years with a knee injury, came back against Samuel Peters. So it's been done before. You know, all these fighters I mentioned are probably all-time greats. I'd like to believe that I can, you know, get back out there, get back in the ring, and prove that, you know, I'm a great fighter. You know, but that's not for me to say. It's for my performances to do the talking for me, and it all starts with Mark de Mori. I don't think 3.5 years out is going to be an issue. But as I said, it's the unknown, and that's probably what makes this fight intriguing. But it's going to be fun, as I said, while it lasts. I'm looking forward to it.
A question for Mark, Ian McCullough, Australian Associated Press. You're based in Croatia now, from Australia. Do you feel you're better prepared for a fight like this, being based in Europe, than you were when you were back in Perth?
One of the best things about me being based in Croatia is full-time training, better living, and there's a lot of talented boxers there, such as my coach, who was a 2-time Olympian. They're very agile and they have a very unique style. And I wouldn't have found guys to prepare for a guy like David Haye in, let's say, Australia or Germany, where they have a more, more typical style. But there's some really classy operators, Olympians in Croatia that I've been working with. So that's the great thing. I mean, David Haye's got a very rare style for a heavyweight, being very agile. So that was the blessing when the fight got announced, as I knew I had a lot of good Olympic-style boxers that could move like him. But just the beauty of not having to fly from Australia to London is one of the luxuries. That flight kills you, you know, and it's winter in Croatia, it's winter here. It's not quite so cold, but I'm getting used to it. So being in Croatia, training with Mario Šivolja, he was the national coach up until recently, started working with me. It's just been a much more professional approach, whereas before my career was really train when I could, do what I could, take whatever fights came up. Now we have a proper approach.
Any other questions? Got one right at the back, just there.
Thanks, Barney Hooper from the O2 here. Question for Steve from Dave TV. Obviously, it's great that people that can't be here in person to see it live on the night, they'll be able to watch it on the channel. Is this a play to bring more sporting fixtures to your audience, and are you planning to take on some of the pay TV channels who've perhaps monopolised this space?
Look, we're on Dave, we're always looking at ways in which we increase what the channel can offer and broaden the offering. So sports one of those areas that is really appealing to our audience. We bring a lot of young men into the channel. So sport is a clear territory where they have real passion for that kind of content. So yeah, we'll keep looking at all the options out there, and when opportunities arise where we can make great shows for our audiences, we will do so.
Anyone else? Any more questions? One just back down here.
Hi, Joshua again, World TV. Question for Mark. Mark, you spoke in the build-up to this fight about desire and self-belief, being able to beat skill. I've seen in your past fights you have been able to beat fighters based on desire and mental strength and breaking them down. What do you think of David Haye's mental strength, and do you think you can break him in the fight?
I think I've learnt a little bit about David Haye from the press conferences, talking about the difference in his training. A lot of time off has probably done the guy good. I know when I've had time off and let injuries heal, I felt better. So this is less about breaking him down or looking for injuries he may or may not have. It's more just about putting myself in a position to land a knockout punch. And to put yourself in that position, you can't sit on the outside, dance around, wait and be defensive. You have to engage. And it's a risky approach, but it's the only approach a guy with my style can take, and that's what I'm prepared for.
Thank you.
Any more questions? That's it? Oh,
another question.
one more to stand
I don't need the microphone.
Just another question for David. How renewed is your hunger after all this time out? You spoke to us last week about how you had to kind of reconnect with your neurological system, your reflexes, those kind of things. How renewed is your hunger now that you're here? You loved Fight Week traditionally.
Yeah.
You loved the energy that it brought. Describe how you feel now about the renewal of your desire for this. I think the desire is burning. You know, my last fight against Derek Chisora 3.5 years ago was a victory, and the desire was there. You know, the reason why I had that fight was simply to fight for Haye afterwards. He said, "You fight Chisora, I fight the winner." Cool, Chisora, knockout 5 rounds. Let's do it. Haven't heard from him since. But my burning desire after that fight was to be the heavyweight champion. It's just an unfortunate sequence of injuries has left me to this point where I'm fit and healthy to fight. The desire is just as it was then, if not burning stronger, as I've been sitting on the sidelines in hospital beds, you know, with my arms in slings, and for a long time just wishing that I could be back in a position. And now that I'm here, I truly don't realise what you have till you lose it. And after having literally reconstructed surgery on my shoulder and not knowing whether I'll be able to come back again has let me know what it put me in a mindset where if I was to come back, if I am lucky enough to be able to compete again, I'll do it this way, I'll do it properly, I'll make sure that I'm never in a position where I'm doing the training like I was doing, where I was risking getting injured. It's just not worth it. So that's exactly what I've implemented in training now. I'm working with Shane. We've focused on getting to the ring in one piece, healthy, fast, fit, energised. Last night we did a great session. And I feel fine today. You know, pushed it session, worked the lungs, really pushed my cardio, did a nice power session, explosive stuff, and today I'm fresh as a daisy. And that's how it's got to be. And, the desire couldn't be burning any stronger. When you say that you don't realise you've lost something till you haven't got it, were there dark days in those last 3.5 years? There were
terribly dark days when you know, I couldn't wash my armpit when I was in the shower because this arm couldn't go over here. I was locked in this position, my arm straight out for nearly 6 months. And you're thinking, okay, after 2 or 3 months, it's like, is it ever going to get better? Is it every day dragged on? You can't go out, you can't run around, you can't walk fast because it jars your shoulder. It was really, as I said, very, very dark times for me. And I just thought, if I can somehow get back, this is never happening again. I'll make sure I cover all bases. So I'm fit and healthy, and I'm going to give this last run the best chance. It's experience. You live and you learn. And as it, sometimes it takes getting things wrong to know, or going down the wrong path to know how to go down the right path.
And mentally, David, as well as physically?
Yeah, mentally I'm fresh. You know, you'd be hard pushed to find a boxing match that I've had where I've taken 20 concussive punches in it. You know, I've got very good head movement, very good defence. You know, I don't give people free shots. And inspiring people have found it very difficult to catch me. And we've got some young guys, you know, letting the hands go. And my timings took a while. It took a few weeks to get it, but now I can stand in front of someone with my hands down and I can read what they're doing. My timing's there, and I can counter. And people have been feeling the power.
Thank you.
No problem.
Anyone else, finally?
Could I just ask Shane, just in regard to what David was saying there, what concessions have you had to make training a guy who is injury prone?
You know, we just make sure he listens to his body. You know, we don't push through the barriers. You know, we when his body feels good, then those are the days when we really push it. And then when his body starts to feel a bit sore, you know, then we ease off a little bit. And you know, he's so experienced, he's so powerful, and he's been a 2-weight world champion. So, you know, there's nothing that we have to push him to those extreme limits. You know, when he's feeling tired and sore, as you would a prospect coming up. So we listen to his body and adjusting it.
Anyone else? I think we might be done. Just so you guys know what's happening straight after this, we're going to do a photo opportunity down here, so any photographers, I know you're all here, but get set for that. Following that, there will be selected one-to-ones with the national newspapers, and then after that, there will be some time for onliners and bloggers to film and ask questions down here at the front of the stage. Thank you to all of the panel up here on the top table, and of course, thank you to all of Hayday's partners once again, and thank you to all of you for coming down this morning.